In 1970, Mr. Edison Dye, who was the importer of Husqvarna motorcycles and the man, I would argue, responsible for bringing the sport of motocross to America, he contracted me to ride Husky. I had been a CZ factory rider the year before, and the promise Mr. Dye made to me is he said, "Mark, look, you come ride for me. I'm going to send you to Sweden. You can learn about the sport. You can work in the Husqvarna factory. You can learn from the other riders and the mechanics, but I want you to bring that knowledge back and share it with the other riders as we build the sport of motocross in America." So it was an incredible experience for a 16-year-old kid from Southern California to go live in Sweden for the summer and be surrounded by all these very, very talented people. As you know, the brand promise at the moment is the pioneers of motocross, and I think that would accurately describe how I felt about the brand at the time. There were no Japanese bikes racing at that time. It was Husqvarna and CZ and Greaves and so on. There was still some of the big heavy British four-strokes, the BSA and a few Triumphs. But Husqvarna was really kind of the leading brand, I would argue, in terms of, you know, they'd come with the Silver Pillin, which was the first pure, you know, off-road purpose-built motorcycle. And they were really leaders of the sport. They had some of the top riders, and they were the brand that I think everyone looked up to. So it was a brand with a lot of history already by that time, but it was also a brand that I would argue was already on the cutting edge. Well, the brand remained, I would argue, very, very strong into the mid-'80s. But when the brand changed hands from Swedish ownership to the Italian ownership, and more importantly, when the factory was moved from Sweden to Italy, a lot of the top engineers didn't go, and the brand, I think, was trying to find its way. Many of the top dealers frankly took on KTM. They got frustrated with the poor support, poor part service, and they just switched to KTM. And that was a pretty big monumental change in the positions of the two brands, where it's where KTM really started to become strong, and unfortunately Husqvarna really suffered here in America until very recently. I mean, we've only been in the marketplace really about 7-8 months here in America since the first bikes arrived, and dealers are screaming for bikes. We can't get bikes fast enough. So the combination, I think, of the great history and the amount of people that have past experience with the brand, together with the fact that it's something new and fresh and different, there's tremendous excitement around the brand, both from folks, frankly, my age to the younger customers. And I also think the race team, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna factory race team, that's a critical element of that, because suddenly, instead of being viewed only as an old brand, it's a new, fresh brand that's cutting edge and competitive and out there capable of fighting with anyone on the track.